Now we get to be joined with our own Roch Kubatko here. We're going to find a more fun name for these segments that we get to do with you. We're calling it Sweater Sundays for right now because we've both gotten the knit memo here. But I do want to dig into this because we got to ask earlier about Kyle Gibson, how he's coming back. But at the end of the day, Cade Povich, at least in his first start, that's a little sample size, but he's living up. So when you bring him in, do they go to that illustrious six-man rotation we've heard so many teams talk about?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little early for that, though. I've been wrong multiple times so far this year trying to guess along. I just don't think in May, if that's what we're looking at, that's going to happen. Now, Gibson, he just had 3 ups, about 45 pitches in a live BP session at Twin Lakes in Sarasota. He's going to throw in a bullpen, then he's getting ready to report to Norfolk. So X number of starts, who knows how many, because he had been throwing it home for so long before he signed. I don't think it takes that long for him to build up. So that is an issue then if you're going with 5 starters. And somebody's going to get treated unfairly. If the question is, what if everybody's throwing really well? Then you feel like Povich might have to be that odd kid out because it's not going to be Sagano. I don't see Kramer. It's not going to be Eflin. It's not going to be Charlie Morton. Like, who else is there? And it would be really unfortunate, though. You always want somebody throwing really well and beating down the door, and that could be Cade Povich. But you have to make room somewhere, and I assume there's a rule that at some point you have to activate or release Kyle Gibson. You can't just leave him in AAA. So eventually he's going to be ready, and they'll have, hopefully for them, a tough decision to make.
It's a nice one to have this time around after we saw just how many starters went down for the Orioles last year, and they were scrambling for those answers. Now, another one of those answers is Kyle Bradish. Where are we feeling with him so far? I mean, I feel like we haven't seen him in 2 years at this point, but we do know the progression is there.
Yeah, people keep asking me for the timetable, and I'm like, I don't even know if one exists, but I know that we don't know it because they're not sharing it. But he's long tossing, and he's back in Baltimore, and Drew French, the pitching coach, said today that when he reduces that distance from a long top, you move closer in the pull downs. He's around 90, the low 90s, because they'll clock anything, even that. So that's a really good sign. So he's getting close to where he's going to start getting on a mound, but then that's a whole progression as well. After the All-Star break, August, is that too soon? They'd probably be thrilled with that, certainly by the beginning of September. And that's going to be a huge addition to bring in a guy who doesn't cost you anything. It's like a deadline acquisition. It's a guy who's really your ace, was probably pitching better than he ever had before he had the injury in the Tommy John. That's a ways down the road. But he's had, not only has he not had any setbacks, he's progressing really favorably.
It's interesting, and to your point, that's the other pickup that we've heard is it's not just that body back in, it's also that he's relatively fresh at a time of the year where a lot of teams are fighting for guys just to have a decent pitch count. Now, we are going to get into this a little bit because I still go back to the fact that I watched this play for Colton Cowser, and it looked a little weird, but it never looked concerning. It wasn't anything that I flagged in my scorebook, and unfortunately, that really tough slide at first, we saw it now with the thumb fracture. How often, you've covered so much baseball, how often are you seeing a play like that?
You see a lot of guys slide, and I was asked, have you ever slid into first base? I've slid into some DMs, but that's a whole different thing than first base. But, I know he's taken some heat for this, like, why are you doing that? It's just an instinctual, aggressive play. I don't know if they've done studies, but I'm pretty sure it slows you down. It doesn't speed you up. But Colton Cowser didn't drop the bat and say, I'm diving into first. It's the way it developed. He thought he could avoid the tag, and it's just something you do instinctively. And as soon as he hit the bag, he raised his left hand. And initially, I thought he's trying to protect it from being stepped on. And he rolled over, and he was signaling because he wasn't happy with the call. So, like, maybe he's also signaling, review this. Both of those were true, but also he hurt his thumb. And where the fracture is, you're looking at a couple months, and it's that same hand that he broke in the playoffs. So it's just unfortunate. He's such an important guy. You've got other potential platoon situations. He's an everyday guy, whether that's left field, right field, backing up in center. And to lose him for a couple months, he was a guy I really thought was going to be the breakout guy, which is saying a lot since he was runner-up for Rookie of the Year. But again, he knows he probably will never do it again, but you're not thinking about that. You're just trying to beat the guy to the bag, and instinctively you dive, and it was kind of a flukish thing that happened, but you are exposing and risking your hands and your fingers when you do that.
Well, and to put that into perspective, too, there are different finger fractures. These are the 2 a.m. rabbit holes that I go down. and so if you fracture it at the right place, you can sometimes be less than a month. You're looking at 2 to 3 weeks maybe. So he really got the brunt of it, and having one of the more brutal ones. To your point, 2 months, that's a really long time, and we know how much he misses being away from this team, especially on an emotional level. Now we have to get a little punny here. It's a day game. So Jackson Holliday goes 3 for 4 yesterday. It's Jackson with 3 hits. If he gets 5, is it a Jackson 5?
It's got to be now, right? And you could do a shot of Tito's. You know, Tito.
Yes.
I'm just toying with you now. Let's just keep this going. Yes, and I mean, look, he had 3 hits. He looked really good. He hit the ball the other way as well, which we keep looking for now. Things they had talked about in spring training. Use the whole field. Don't just try to pull everything. Don't just try to hit home runs. And you see him up the middle, left field as well. I covered a Cal Ripken game where he had 6 hits. I think it was in Atlanta in his last season. So 5 is nothing. We've seen 6. So maybe it does. Now I'm really rooting for it just for the Jackson 5. But it's exciting the way he's progressing as a hitter, maturing. And he should be. He's 21. We were judging him at 19, which didn't seem very fair.
He was, learning his ABCs easy as 1, 2, 3 yesterday.
Yes. Oh, let's all just keep playing along with this.
Well, we've got a lot to get into. We'll try to be a little less silly next time, but why not? It's beautiful outside for the first time on this entire trip.